At any moment, you can add a new vertex onto an edge. You can do this either by clicking on the Add Vertex button and then clicking anywhere on the edge, or directly by going on the edge and hitting the V shortcut. And this will add a vertex. There's some additional options here. For example, if you hit the Shift key while hovering over an edge, you will get an indication of the midpoint. And then if you hit V, the vertex will be added exactly at the midpoint of the edge. If you hit the Shift key repeatedly, after the midpoint, the edge will be split in more parts, 1, 2, 3, etc. And then you can hit the V key to add the edge exactly at the fraction of the length of the edge that you selected. And this is also valid for non-linear edges, like here for example. So this vertex was added exactly at 2/8 of this edge length. There are some additional options, which we will be introducing later. Now, there are different ways in which you can also add an edge on your model. The simplest way is to select 2 vertices, and then either hit the Add Edge icon or hit the E shortcut, and you will get an edge between those 2 vertices. This edge is then available to deform and use in any way you want. Note that if you hit Shift E, so E with the Shift key pressed, the edge will be added as a linear edge regardless of the underlying surface shape. If you select 3 vertices or more and hit the E shortcut, you will get edges added between all of the consecutive pairs. There is, however, one additional way of adding an edge, whereby you effectively draw it on your object. So without having selected any vertices or any other element in your model, you can hit the Add Edge icon or the E shortcut. Your model will turn blue, meaning that you are in this special state where you are now drawing, and then click and move your mouse across a face or more faces. But make sure not to lift your mouse before you have crossed both borders, so both edges around the face. The result is that the system will add an edge onto the face, roughly following the shape of the movement that you've done with your mouse, and this edge will again be a valid edge that you can manipulate. As mentioned, you can do this also across more than one face, like I'm doing here, to draw 2 edges effectively on 2 faces. I will undo this. In addition, if while moving your mouse you have your Shift button pressed, after hitting E, the edge will be added linearly. So the movement will be linear, horizontally or vertically over your object. I will undo again. One last thing to mention here. Again, I will add an edge. I will move my mouse over the surface. If while moving I hit the V button, at the points where I have hit the V button, I will additionally get vertices added on my edge, which I can then use according to my design needs. Now, an operation that is very similar to drawing an edge on your model is the carve operation. So if you select the carve button or hit the C shortcut, you can do a very similar operation to drawing an edge across various faces. Only in this case, the operation is understood as cutting through your model, so the edges have also been added on the rear faces of your model, and so you've got a complete cut through the model. Now, if we box select these faces that have been added, we'll see later how we can remove these to be left with a carve through our model. Another way to quickly add edges on a face is to select it and then hit the split icon. And this will equally split it in 4 parts, and you can do this on multiple faces. Note that faces with irregular shapes will be split irregularly. We also provide a similar functionality that we call a crosshair. So if you are hovering the mouse over a face with the Shift key pressed, you get a pair of lines perpendicular to each other displayed on the face. One is red, the other green. If you hit the R key at any moment, you will get an edge added along the red line. G for green, or B for both. Note that for faces that are not very regular, the two lines will also follow a not so regular direction. Finally, you can also do an offset of the face as follows. Select the face by clicking on it. Then you click on the offset button and the face turns blue. Then you select one vertex and then you click roughly where you would like this vertex to move. Then you simply move your mouse until you have the exact positioning you want. And then you click once again and this gives you an offset. So we have seen some first edge-based manipulations. We would also like to remind you that if you hover your mouse over any of these functionality buttons, you will get a brief description of what they do, a short animation showing you how to use them, any shortcuts, and if you click on the Read More button, you get a more comprehensive description of their functionality, including the usage, any tips and options you have, and again the shortcuts. So you have plenty of help at your fingertips. Feel free to experiment before moving on to the next video. Thank you.